What up, guys? Welcome to another Saturday fun sports card show.
Gate City.
We got
What up,
Pittsburgh.
Paul?
What else? What up, Mike?
Good, man. How you doing?
Doing well. Doing well.
Yeah, living the dream, man. You see Swamp Picker, Gate City in the house already. Appreciate you guys being here.
What up, guys? Paul says, "What you know about football? Foosball?" Paul knows we know football.
All I know is that foosball's the devil. That's what my mama say.
Yeah, I'm excited for the fantasy draft coming up next week. I scheduled two of the leagues, and I'm just waiting for two people just to accept the email. They're already paid and everything like that. We just need them to accept it, so this way I can schedule it for the week after that. So we'll do the third league the 28th. So this way we're not drafting literally for one day solid.
Yeah, faux show. That's gonna be awesome though, man. Like I'm really looking forward to that. Like low key, I kind of thought it was today. So like I'm getting prepped up. Like I log into ESPN. I'm like, I'm gonna get my draft board ready. I'm gonna show Nate a thing or two. And I'm like, it's scheduled for 7 days. Like it was like a shot to the gut. I was like all ready and hyped up. I told Marty, I was like, dude, we got 2 leagues going on today. It's gonna be amazing.
At least you started your research early, so maybe you get some value in your third and fourth rounds.
I need to know where James Conner goes, Nate. That's a very important thing to me.
I'm gonna give you a hint. You can get him at the last pick, guaranteed. Unless I take him, which I definitely probably won't.
Liar. You know you want James Conner.
You might get some run in Arizona. I mean, because who's the other running back for Arizona? Chase Edmonds and I think him, because the other guy who was Kenyon Drake, he went to the Raiders, I believe, from what I remember. So,
yeah.
I mean, Chase is very good third down back. He's like a scamper back, where he's just a really fast running back. I don't know if he could take the pounding for a full 16 games, but combination with James Conner and him, I think they can get a full season out of both those guys, because James Conner gives you, probably 8 good games, and Chase can probably hopefully stay healthy as well.
Derek, good to see you, brother.
What is going on, Derek?
Appreciate you being here.
Derek, I don't know if you've seen notifications, but on the first league, we'll be drafting next week, 1 o'clock Eastern, and then the last league that you sign up for will be the week after. I'm just waiting for 2 people just to accept the email, and then we'll be rolling and set that in stone as well for draft times and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it, man. I really am.
It's the best time of the season, man. I look forward to this more than basketball, to be honest. It's like football is like my favorite sport. Honestly, I like both sports, but football is just, because there's not as many games, it's just so much more like, just means more to me, you know what I mean, than like basketball. Basketball, you can miss a few games and, you still get a good chunk of games in and be able to watch. But football, you only get, 17 regular season games now. So
true. It's a lot easier to watch a complete season too, because you figure you're only setting aside, especially if you're following like one team. Like, I mean, really, you could follow like the entire league, because you figure Thursday night, Monday night, you're going to have some games, and then basically all day Sunday you can watch. Exactly. And that basically can catch you up on the entire league. Whereas, like, if you want to do that with NBA, MLB, NHL, pretty much any of the other big leagues, like, you're literally setting aside time almost every day to have to follow it. So, yeah, it is a lot easier in that sense. You know what I mean? Whereas, like, Sunday's like the big day for football fans.
Yeah, I'm saving just in case I don't move into my new shift by then, which they've been telling me for weeks and weeks and months now that I should have been moved. But supposedly sometime in September or before September, hopefully they do that. But I'm saving days off because I'm taking every Sunday off I can, because I don't want to miss one game, especially with doing three leagues this year. I got a lot of riding on it and stuff like that.
Spider, what's up, man? Good to see you, man.
Derek says he wants excited to watch Bears and Browns today. That should be a good game. What up, Spider? Good to see you.
I want to see Justin Fields come out and do something, man. I'm excited to see what he can bring to that offense.
I think I don't know. I would say for expectations, my expectation of that guy is probably sits his first year unless their team somehow collapses, which I don't think the Bears are a bad team this year. And maybe mid to late season he gets a crack at starting, maybe. But he's definitely the future moving forward in that franchise. I think Andy Dalton will. I think he'll either start. He'll probably start for the season just because he's that veteran presence, and they do have a decent squad. So I think they would rather have that happen and have him sit for a good chunk of the year and maybe the whole year, and hopefully learn behind Dalton. What up, Maz? He says, "What up, fellas? Just rewatching your TGT video, trying to persuade him to grade with you."
That's what's up, man. It was awesome. Yeah, I don't know if you saw it yesterday. I went live on IG from the office, and we were like straight slapping live.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Derek says, "I'd love to see Dalton over Foles. Foles is a good quarterback too. He won a Super Bowl. Coming in for Wentz. He's probably not going to put up the most amazing numbers, but I think Dalton can still, chuck it up there. You know what I mean? If I had a star quarterback go down like last year and I didn't have Dak Prescott,
what's up, James?
Dalton was on the board and there wasn't really much else, I would take Dalton. He's going to put up some points.
I mean, he is the red rifle. So he has that going for him.
What up, James? Good to see you. Yeah, I mean, he was always good for carving up the Steelers. So, I mean, he knows how to play against pressure and stuff like that for sure. We got Tom in the house. What up?
Hey, Tom.
Good to see you.
Hey, brother.
We're going to be doing our first league next week. First and second. First one is sports cards group. Second is a reseller group. So we'll be doing both of those Saturday, and then the week after would be the final one we filled during the last week's show.
Are you head-to-head league? Yes. You have first-round pick. Do you pick QB or running back? Depending on where I pick, I'd probably get running back personally. Let's see. Spider says, will you do a live random draft order before the draft, or is it just minutes prior?
So the thing that's awesome about ESPN, and it's part of the reason why I like it, you can choose in the settings to have it do a random order. So what it will do is an hour before the draft, it will actually randomize the draft order. So it's 100% fair, regardless of what happened last year. If there was a league last year, like with the Ecom League that we'll be doing, that league we played last year. So regardless of what happened that year or whatever, it's not going to take any precedent or anything like that. So it would be totally random. The only thing that I was hoping that we could do something where we could trade picks. But if I did that, then I would have to set a draft order. So being that said, I didn't want to do that. I want everything to be 100% up and up. No chance for any, thought of tampering or anything weird because, I just want to make everything 100% fair for everybody. Yeah, James, with that, it just depends on how everyone's drafting. You know what I mean? Like if everyone starts grabbing running backs off the jump, which usually what happens, you usually go running back, but if it's not a lot of value there, you usually have to go elsewhere. QB is something usually you pick up a little bit later. I mean, a lot of it just depends on how people draft. People draft all different ways. I mean, you could do a million mock drafts and it can go pretty much similar most of the time. But, depending on, who's picking, they could be picking something early. Like somebody last year, I think, picked Patrick Mahomes, I think, with the first pick, where quarterbacks didn't get started picking towards, maybe 5th or 6th round or something like that. I think last year, just roughly. So
he is the first pick, though. He's saying like he is the first overall pick, I think.
oh, first pick. I think you have to go running back.
The only time I would go quarterback in that situation, there's this one league I'm in with Marty that allows a second startable quarterback in the flex, and because of that, and also there's 14 teams in that league, so there's not enough for every team to be able to start 2 quarterbacks in a week. So whoever does have that option has a really big advantage over the other people. So in that league, normally quarterbacks go like really hot and heavy. So like if I was drafting for a league like that, I might be like, heck with it, I'm going Mahomes. You know what I mean? But in like any like regular or PPR type league, I'd probably just go with like one of like the stud workhorse running backs that's going to get you, guaranteed 15, 20, sometimes more points a game.
Yeah. I mean, you could see some guys sometimes upwards of 40, 50 points in a super good game. Delvin Cook and Devontae Freeman definitely put me some points up last year like that. What up, Jonathan? Good to see you. He says, is y'all's league already full? Sadly, yeah, we have 3 leagues running. All of them are full. I mean, unless somehow, we get enough people interested, I'll run another league. I just want to make sure we can fill it. But if you're not on our Facebook group, I'll drop a link for our Facebook group, and I'll try and catch some fillers if we get more people interested in joining another one. But we do $20 entry fee per team, and top 2 get cash prizes. There's our Facebook group. So Superflex, you can use a quarterback in a Superflex.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, I've never played a league like that. But that'd be pretty cool to do something.
Yeah,
like
you
that.
can literally put anything there. There's some weeks where literally, because there's so many players that you're literally picking 3rd and 4th receivers to play. There's some weeks where it's better just to start another kicker because you know that kicker will get you like 9 to 10 points.
Yeah. There's a link for Facebook group for our sports card stuff. So if you are not in there, jump in there, and we'll be dropping stuff for our lives that we're doing, fantasy, and also you can buy, sell, trade cards in there as well. James says he's too good for us. Wouldn't want to show us up. I don't know, man. We won both leagues last year, one apiece. So.
Yep. And I did that with James Conner on both squads.
That tells you how good his rest of his team must have been.
Yep.
Yeah, I like playing with the flex, having receiver, running back, tight end. You can run the 3 on that. I've never played a super flex though, but it'd be pretty cool to do though because that would definitely change up how you would even draft because, like you said, you can run 3 quarterbacks, but chances are you need at least 2, and there's only say 14 to 20 decent quarterbacks in the league, probably. You know what I mean?
That's the type of league where if you end up with 3 quarterbacks, like you could trade your bum 3rd quarterback for like a good receiver or running back because people get desperate for quarterbacks in that league.
Definitely.
There's people like rostering, like if somebody's like on the bubble of getting benched, people are rostering their backup already in those leagues.
Yeah, you would definitely have to have some guys, and then you probably pick up even a guy that is second string just because you hope eventually he gets some playing time because the other guy gets hurt.
Yep.
Like for example, like whoever Pittsburgh's backup is, knock on wood, I hope Ben doesn't get hurt, but he's older, so you pick up a guy maybe like Haskins or whoever our second string quarterback is. But if it's Mason Rudolph, I would not even pick him either. But he's by far the worst quarterback ever.
I'm gonna get you his jersey.
That will never see the light of day. It'll stay in the basement, and it'll have like one of those. It'll be like one of those things where you play darts and just throw darts at it.
That's awesome, Derek. Yeah, it's good to have those quarterbacks. Hopefully, Wentz will bounce back for you. He killed me last. That's another guy I drafted in both leagues, which luckily I had a good backup in the league I won. But he killed me in one league. It was not nice.
Only thing that stinks about one of your quarterbacks, Wentz is hurt until who knows. It's kind of a big window from last thing I heard with Wentz. So you're kind of two QBing in it until Wentz is able to start. I even heard a little bit of rumbling, so maybe Andrew Luck may be coming back.
Yeah, I heard that. Tom's asking for waivers. Is it going to be? How's it going to be done? Free for all? Worst records get first priority, or only allowed so many each week?
Last year, I believe how it was, because I'm going to run it the same way we did last year. It did it by worst team gets first dibs, and then it goes down the line. So like I believe Wednesday would be the first day you would see. You can put in earlier, but it would go by whoever has the worst team, and then goes down the line, and then you put in, basically like a bid or a what's it called, add him to your waiver list, and you can get him or whatever. But yeah, it goes by that, and there's no, there's no. You can get as many as you need. You can do as many moves as you want, because you usually don't see too much in the waiver wire, and some teams, depending on how their buys are and everything, you know what I mean, you might have 5 guys and you might have to swap out 1 week, or maybe you just take the loss because you don't want to have the chance of losing any of your star guys or any guys you have. So I know one year I did that, where I just basically just went in there with two man short because I didn't want to give up any of my bench guys, and I almost won that week too, which is crazy. Yeah, there you go, Spider. Claim. You can put a claim in for, your guys, and then you can put them in order by, how important, that player or that person you want. So if it's a guy, and if you have the better record, and you're probably not going to get like the top 2 or 3 because everyone wants those type of guys, you can put maybe somebody that you would have a better chance of getting, and you would get that guy. You know what I mean? 10-man leagues we're running this year. I should have probably made them a little bit bigger, but actually I might be able to make the other one 12. It's not closed up yet. I could still add teams, so maybe I can add 2 more teams to our third league. I didn't think about that. If Jonathan's still here, we might be able to do that for you, Jonathan. We might be able to add in 2 more teams or whatever. I wouldn't mind doing a 12-man team.
Yeah, I like it when there's a lot more teams. Just makes it more challenging.
Tom said, okay, cool. That's how I won last league I was in. Started 0-4, grabbed the best waivers to reserve, run the table. It's not a plan. It's not my plan, but it's good to know it's possible. Yeah, I mean, injuries happen, man. Things happen. Bye weeks come and go, and you got to make moves, and that's what helped me win last year. I lost Dak Prescott in both teams, and he was tearing it up last year, and I picked him late in the draft, so I got a lot of great value out of him, and he won me a lot of games. And then all of a sudden he fell off. I think I picked up one of Anthony's waiver quarterbacks, which was Kirk Cousins or somebody decent. Like, him and Justin Jefferson ended up being a good combo at the end of the year, so that helped me kind of run the table too. So,
you're welcome.
Thank you. And I think I did that. I think I did that the year before too, when I joined the one you set up. I think it was you and Marty. You had a league or something. I joined the first league we did.
Yep.
Yeah, 12's right, probably right at max I would run. 14's rough. It could be rough.
This question really just depends for me on the year and the players that are being drafted first. Back in the day, like, I was huge Latainian Tomlinson, Adrian Peterson guy. So if I could grab those guys with the first pick, I love drafting first. But if I couldn't get like one of those 2 guys, I'm fine with being in the middle or at the end. I'd actually prefer the end because I like the back-to-back picks. The thing I hate about the middle is I'm always like bunched up next to a guy like Nate that knows the players I want and will purposely take them. So
we just have similar tastes. That's all.
that's the thing that sucks about the middle is because I'm always up against somebody like that. We're always kind of taking each other's players.
Yeah, whenever me and Anthony's dropped against each other a couple years now, and we kind of have similar or understand our draft strategies. So sometimes you pop off on something normally people maybe wouldn't, and now he or maybe I do the same thing now. So I mean that's the one thing is making a move before everyone makes the move. So this way you get the best value in each round and everything too.
Absolutely.
But usually for me, James, I usually like the end, to be honest. You get that double swing pick because then you get a lot of value at the end. So even though you don't get like one of the super top 10 players, probably, or top 8 or whatever, but you get maybe 10 and then you get 12. You know what I mean? So, and if those guys put up similar or the same production, then you're pretty solid. But usually, whenever the first guy picks, for example, and you go to pick second and third round, sometimes you don't get as great value. But yeah, I mean, a lot of it just depends on your draft strategies and who you think is going to really pan out. Yeah, same here, Derek. I like the double swing. I like, I'll go with the guy that I'm like, I got to get him. And then the second pick will be like a little bit of a curveball or ahead of the curve be where I get the first QB or whatever maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing too that's kind of difficult. Like, is when you have Mahomes, you have the best player at that position, bar none. So you essentially almost have a one battle in that category every time, which is really awesome. But then the other issue with having Mahomes is that the players that are of higher quality that you could have had, you know what I mean? For example, like your best running back you could grab then would be like a essential like third round talent, because typically by the time like the 24th or 20th or whatever pick would come back around, most of like the bell horse or like workhorse type backs are already taken. So you're either taking a guy that's splitting carries or, and you know what, if you're in a PPR or something like that, you can still find a lot of value at that position. But as far as somebody that's going to like really, really get you good value, it's going to be a little bit more difficult, but it's not impossible because Mahomes is a game changer too. But I definitely think like I personally be a little more comfortable. Like if I was drafting late, maybe grabbing like Mahomes in a quarter or in one of the running backs or something like that. But from one, I mean, theoretically, unless somebody's really into a quarterback, you might even be able to get him in the second round. But again, like most drafts I see, Mahomes normally goes in the first 3 just because he does kind of stand head and shoulders above the rest of the quarterbacks, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's going to put up points. He's going to be in the red zone a lot. Sometimes he'll even sneak it in, so there's extra value there. He does scramble some, probably more than his coach wants, especially with him having a little bit of a injury. I don't think it was last year or the year before, where he did like a goal line dive and hurt his knee or tweaked his knee a little bit. So, but yeah, I mean the main thing is trying to get those top echelon players and try to figure out where you should draft those before your competition. So if you're able to get a Mahomes in the 6th, 7th, 8th round or whatever, by all means, then if you think that can happen, then you can press your luck and go heavy. Say, like James saying, like going to like maybe a receiver where you get like a maybe. Well, I doubt the Adams will be after the first round, but someone like him where he can have some big time numbers and win you some games and stuff.
Yep. Exactly.
Derek said I had some really early picks last year and got screwed. Saquon and C-Mac. Yeah, Saquon. I mean, even this year, right? He's a risk. He's definitely a risk. I mean, he has injuries, basically every year. But if he can stay healthy or at least get you through most of the year, I mean, he's a game changer. He He catches the ball in the backfield. He's hard to tackle. He's going to be that workhorse, in with the Giants. Now they might be a little bit more of a passing offense than in more than past years because of who they got with Galladay or whatever. But they're still going to be heavy Saquon, that's for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if you're number one pick, who do you take this year, Nate? Like, is there like one player that, in your opinion, just kind of stands like head and shoulder above like the rest, or whatnot? Like, is there like I said back in the day, it was always like LT and Peterson for me. Like, is there a guy like that you like deem to be like head and shoulders above like maybe the other 2 or 3 elite running backs?
What, like in prior years, you mean?
Well, yeah, I mean this year coming up. Like, if you're the number one overall selection, like James is there a guy that you're just like, this is a no-brainer? He should be number one, bar none. Ash, good to see you, brother. Kathy's in the house. Great to see you as well.
He said, I'm late to start over. He says, I'm drafting kickers in the first 3 rounds. Pittsburgh might do that. He might go get Boswell. He'll get him early. This is why I can't pick him. The Titans are going to be an interesting team. With them having Julio, I think that makes them a higher scoring offense a little bit. I don't think they're going to be like a Kansas City Chiefs type, but I still think they'll be, basically, instead of maybe scoring like 18, 20 points a game, maybe they uptick to maybe 24, 25, a game or whatever the case is. James wants me to give up his top 30.
How about it? So I actually figured I'd just pull up some rankings. So we're drafting on ESPN. So I figured why not just share the rankings that we're going to all be participating in. So as far as quarterbacks, look, they got Rodgers as their 6th quarterback. So if you're looking to draft Aaron Rodgers this year, you're sitting pretty because according to ESPN, he's the 6th overall quarterback.
Yeah, I can't believe that.
Dak is ahead of him. Kyler Murray's ahead of him. But yeah, Mahomes number 1, like basically across every one of these. Where's Big Ben at? Big Ben at 16, right in the middle.
Yeah, I don't.
Look, Trevor Lawrence is higher than Big Ben.
I can't believe that.
Jalen Hurts is higher than Big Ben.
The only reason why I'd say maybe Hurts is higher than Ben is because he's going to scramble probably a whole lot this year. But I don't know if he can. He might be the closest thing we see maybe like a Michael Vick. I think he's going to be running a lot, and maybe only having 200 yards passing. Maybe 1 touchdown. I don't think his touchdowns are going to be high this year, but they don't have a lot of talent on the opposite side of the ball, especially receivers. I mean, they did get the first round, had a high first round pick, but I mean, how much can you really expect a first year receiver to come in and do right off the bat? You know what I mean? That's asking a lot.
So Derek says Cook. Tom says Kamara if he plays like he did his rookie year. Spider says McCaffrey maybe, but there's still James says sprint screen, LOL. Yeah, I mean, that's the awesome thing is all of these sites will show you their fantasy rankings and stuff. Yeah, I mean, personally, like in a PPR setting, like we're in, I love McCaffrey just because he gets a lot of catches out of the field. In basically any format, I like Derrick Henry. He's just a workhorse. That dude is an animal. I really like Delvin Cook. He's done some damage for me. I do like Kamara. I think it's going to hurt not quite having Michael Thomas, and the loss of Drew Brees, I think, is going to hurt that offense as well. So
where'd Michael Thomas go?
I think he's hurt. I'm pretty sure I heard he's hurt.
I was about to say.
He's missing time for something.
Okay.
So, yeah, but they still have Michael Thomas, but I'm pretty sure he's hurt. I mean, Zeke, I expect a nice little turnaround from him. Hoping Saquon can bounce back because that guy is an elite talent. Jonathan Taylor single-handedly won me the league I won. That guy is just the real deal. You know, there's some decent talent there. Like if you come away from the first round or early second round, you can definitely have some nice players. But then like you see it starts to like really, really dry up. So I don't know. That's why I think personally, like I almost have to go running back early just because I want one of these top however many guys.
Yeah, once you get to about 19, it starts to get a little bit rough.
Yep.
In my opinion.
Yep.
I mean, you got guys that are, that are still starters, but they might be sharing time. Like, for example, Josh Jacobs, he's a great running back, but he's going to be taking snaps. You got Kenyon Drake going to be taking snaps off him. Miles Sanders can put up a lot of good points. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, second year in the league now. He's in Kansas City's offense, going to be getting stuff out of the backfield. He's a nice value. Swift, I'm kind of surprised. I don't see him being that high, and he's injured right now with a little questionable tag. But everybody else, I basically agree with on that ranking list.
Yep. And you're right. Nick Chubb splitting as well. And honestly, as elite backup, like this is one of the few timeshares I'm actually pretty high on is Cleveland's running game because Cleveland's going to just be like a dominant running team all year. But yeah, I mean that's one of those situations where you got to be careful because Nick Chubb could be getting tons of yards, but then goal line comes around, they could be like, all right, let's grab Kareem Hunt, get him some touchdowns.
You almost have to if you pick Nick Chubb, you almost have to go Kareem Hunt like soon after because he's not going to be on the board very long. He still puts up points, and they'll run the two-back offense, even having Kareem Hunt come out the slot or motion him out the backfield to run the slot as like a receiver. And he gets some third down looks as well. So, I mean, he puts up points regardless as well, but he also takes away from Chubb. And Chubb, when he missed time last year, Kareem Hunt did a heck of a job. I mean, he was definitely one of those running backs that put up a lot of points in Kansas City. So, in the sake of trying to figure out what's what and protect yourself, if you have Nick Chubb, you almost have to get Kareem Hunt in a way, in my opinion.
So here's what I would say as far as the first round pick, especially with the sharing of snaps and stuff like that. If you can get like a guy like this, like first overall, you know what I mean? Like essentially you're looking at McCaffrey, Cook, Kamara, and Henry. Like those are the four that you're really looking at with that number one pick. Or you could go Mahomes, which would be good too because he's by far the best quarterback, but the issue you're going to have with Mahomes is then in like the sixth round or the fifth round, could you have gotten like a Dak or a Lamar or even an Aaron Rodgers who might give you close to that same output? You know what I mean?
Right.
Whereas like if you're grabbing another running back later, it's going to be considerably like a bigger decline.
Yeah.
So that's my only issue with doing it that early. Like I've seen it happen and I've seen people win doing it that way before too, but it just I think there's comparable points. Like Mahomes is clearly like the number one, but even if you got Tom Brady in the sixth round, that's still pretty salvageable quarterback that's going to give you on some weeks probably the same output as Mahomes.
Yeah, I think the top six is actually probably top seven. Herbert, depending. I think those guys can put up elite numbers for you almost week in, week out. I mean, some of them might have bad weeks depending on who they play defensively, so on and so forth. But, I mean, if you're able to get one of those guys a little bit later, then you do that because you're able to now get better receivers or even, pick up a tight end where, the tight end position is a very small market as well, like with top echelon type guys. I mean, you right there, you're probably looking at, Matt Ryan doesn't have Julio, so maybe top six,
This is one of those positions that, like, in my opinion, is very underrated to grab earlier because if you have one of the top few, look at the steep decline that happens after them. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
It's like you have like superstar players, then you just got some like average NFL players.
Exactly.
So like Kelsey and Kittle, in my opinion, are like super values in this draft. I mean, even Waller to an extent. He had himself a nice year last year. Some jagoff named Nate drafted him in both leagues and did pretty good.
No, yeah, he was eating. He was Chef Boyardee eating for me. He literally won me the championship or a playoff game at least, very least, because I needed like a late catcher or something out of him, and I don't know how it happened, but he got one, and I was shocked because they were basically winning the game, and they threw, which was shocking, and he got the catch.
So we have a couple questions here. And speaking of defense, let's hear the ranking. Okay, we'll do defense before the receivers. Defenses are sometimes important. If you can get a defense that actually puts up double-digit points, that's a game changer because that's a one battle every single time. So you got the Buccaneers, Steelers, Ravens, Rams, Bills. Any of these like top four are going to be super tough defenses to play against.
I would even add the Bills in there, and the reason why I say that is because their conference is pretty weak. Patriots they're a whole brand new team basically because of free agency this year, which is very rare for them to do. So other than basically the Bills and the Patriots in that division, they don't have a lot of competition. So unless their schedule is very daunting and going against like Kansas City or somebody like one of those type of divisions or two type of similar divisions where it's very heavy, like maybe they play us in the AFC North, and they play maybe Kansas City or something's division, then maybe I would change my idea. I haven't looked in that deep at their schedule, but that is a big thing you got to look at as well. Who they're playing against, what their schedule is as well, because maybe the Patriots move up really on that list, instead of maybe like the 49ers or somebody else because of strength of schedule. I mean, Washington, who a lot of people I know last week were talking about their defense being strong, their list is number 9.
Yeah.
So that might be a value pick there in the defensive world, depending on how you value Washington's defense.
So just to go back to what you're saying about the Buffalo Bills, though, are you implying that the Miami Dolphins and the New York Jets might not be that good of football teams?
I am going to put my stamp on it and say yes. They are not going to be strong. I mean, they do have a lot of young talent at quarterback and different things like that, but those guys need to have pieces around them to be successful and put up, a lot of great numbers. I mean, Trevor Lawrence, he's one of the most highly regarded quarterbacks since who? Let me think.
Since the great Jamarcus Russell.
I would say it's up there with Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck type hype. You know what I mean?
I would say that you're absolutely correct.
And look what Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck did their first years. They had decent years, but their team was very, very bad. I mean, Peyton had Marvin Harrison, which helped him a lot, and then they eventually got Reggie Wayne. A few years later. But for the most part, that team was, total rebuild. You know what I mean? So unless, a team that picked up a quarterback or something early because of maybe a trade or whatever the case is, and they got one of them early slots because of just luck on how a trade went, those early teams, you got to really, not have super high expectations for. Like, that's why I'm surprised Trevor Lawrence is going to be higher than Big Ben. Big Ben's going to put some numbers up this year. He might throw some picks. He might have some idiotic games, but that team went 11-0 last year and put up numbers. You know what I mean?
Deontay Johnson's number 20. My man Deontay. Come on now. I got tons of his cards.
Yeah. I mean,
where's Chase?
In a PPR league, Deontay Johnson.
He's higher than Chase? Where's Chase? Chase is 29. Deontay's 1.
Yeah, I mean, Deontay Johnson basically got the AB role.
Oh, there's Michael Thomas down here. So I'll show you exactly what's up with Michael Thomas. Let's see. Saints could be open to trading Michael Thomas. Is an ankle injury. So it's out with an ankle, but they're possibly trading him.
He was one of the guys last year that killed me. He didn't play at all, I don't think, last year,
Yeah.
or played like one game.
So
And I had him early last year.
you think Devontae's really going to be like the number one guy out of all the receivers this year?
I mean, he
the league I won, he was pretty big for me.
yeah, he ate and ate and ate. I mean, look at who Aaron Rodgers has thrown to. I mean, Aaron Rodgers was an MVP last year. He's not going to take that big of a step down. I mean, he looks good. You know, he didn't have any injuries or surgeries or anything that I know of. I mean, him and Adams are like that 1-2 punch of all time type stuff. I mean, he puts up numbers. He's getting the ball 10, 15 times, and he doesn't miss the catch very often. He's not one of them guys who just, drops the ball.
I got to be real. There's some guys on this list that are higher than I would expect, and there's some guys on this list that are also lower than I would expect.
Calvin Ridley, I'm shocked. I don't think he's the number one receiver.
Dude, like
I think Julio's done
overall. Like,
yeah.
Like I would much rather have Justin Jefferson.
I mean, he's going to be definitely the number one guy down in Atlanta, and they're going to be throwing a lot. But he's not Julio Jones, where he's like 6'6", like I can catch over anybody. He's a guy that speedy, slot type of guy who needs another bigger receiver to help him not get double coverage so much. I mean, that's why I'm surprised. Ridley's going to be a guy, if he's around later, like later in the draft, I might pick him, but I'm not picking him 6 off the board.
I'm actually kind of surprised to see Steph Diggs up that high too. Like, I think he's an elite talent. Don't get me wrong.
Stephon Diggs was crushing it last year.
I know he was crushing it, dude, but like
he was on I had him and Adams last year. They were eating.
Oh, I know they were eating, man. I'm just surprised to see him in the top 3. I would put him in. I would definitely put him in the top 5 or so. But
so who's your top 5?
My top 5 are definitely Adams is up there. Tyreek the Freak is definitely up there. DK Metcalf is up there. No, I'm just kidding.
I was about to say, here comes the Steelers.
We'll see. I don't know, man. Like, maybe he would be like right around the 5 area. I mean, Justin Jefferson would probably be right in the fringe of being a top 5 talent. But I mean, you figure there's like some like Pro Bowl talents not even like listed up top here. Like Julio obviously isn't right now. He's a little injured. He's on a new team.
Mr. Burke said Ridley is going to be a top 15 pick all day. I personally would not pick him 15 out of 15 guys that come off the board. If I had the 15th pick, I'm not picking Ridley. I am not that high on him. I think he's going to have trouble down in Atlanta putting up numbers. I mean, he's going to get opportunities. Don't get me wrong. They're going to be throwing a whole lot because they're not a very good football team down there, and they're still Matt Ryan down there. But I think Julio Jones had a big helping of that.
I'd probably move DK to 3, Steph to 4, DeAndre to 5. That's probably what I would do.
Honestly, I think the top 5 is.
I'm a little bit higher on DK though. That might be why.
Well, the only reason why I'm not higher on DK than that is because him and the other receiver, which I can't think off the top of my head, in Seattle, they kind of share a lot of targets together. What's his name? I can't think of the top of my head. But.
Joby wants his Kyle Pitts Offensive Rookie of the Year. I hope so, man. I want to see some more elite tight ends coming to the league.
He should put up a lot of numbers because Matt Ryan typically throws a lot to the tight end, so that possibly might be a situation.
So, like, you have any like sleeper guys you're really looking forward to, like as far as like why? Like, because my thing with receivers, like, look at this: Chase Claypool and Juju at 30, like that's great value. Odell at 32, great value. Even Debo, man.
I'm not a fan of Odell. I don't think Odell deserves to be on the top 50.
Top 50? You don't think Odell's a top 50 player?
Nah, Jarvis Landry was the best receiver on that team last year, and he was 43rd.
I agree, but dude, Odell Beckham is such an elite talent.
Can't stay healthy.
It's his head that keeps him from being like literally. Honestly, he's probably talent-wise the best wide receiver in the league. but his head screws him, man. Like, I feel like he gets so like discombobulated with like not being the focal point of everything that it like jacks him up.
I just think he's not motivated anymore to play football.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I was kind of getting at. You know what I mean? Almost like the Randy Moss TO like mentality.
I think he is like a clone of AB, Antonio Brown, and I'm shocked Antonio Brown's
number 44.
Yeah, I don't think he should be 44. I think he should be in the 55 area. I
Dude,
just
one
don't
thing
think
I
he's
was
going
kind
to
of
get a lot of
surprised
touch.
with is Terry McLaurin being number 10 overall and Allen Robinson being number 11 overall.
Allen Robinson put in some numbers last year. He was a good pick. He was a good receiver last year.
Yeah, he was, dude. Honestly, last year was like the first year I hadn't had him in forever because I'd been drafting him just because he was a Penn State boy.
Go up. Go up a little more.
I don't know.
His stats: 102 receptions, almost 1,300 yards, and
that's solid. That's quite solid.
6 touchdowns is kind of low for that type of area of pick, but he's giving you production. Hopefully, Andy Dalton gives him a little better red zone, action.
Justin Fields is in the game, boys.
Yeah, I agree, Tom. Landry way better than OBJ. If OBJ from years ago, he'd be legendary, and he's OBJ over the last couple of years, which is almost non-existent.
Tua was pretty good before that interception.
He what's his called? OBJ him and AB, they went from like superstar, super monster receivers, divas, to divas and not even caring about what's going on the field. They're just getting that check, and they really don't care. Odell stays hurt. That's why I'm backing off him. If I knew he would stay healthy the whole season, I'd definitely pick him up. I just don't think Cleveland throws the ball. I just don't think Cleveland throws the ball enough, man. I'm just not a big fan of him. I think this combination is going to be good, though. JB.
This is my guy right here. This is my sleeper pick. Young Ho Koo.
Greatest name in football.
Exactly. Like who looks at their precious little baby and says, "That's Young Ho." This guy's mom did.
Young Ho, mother trucker.
That's my guy. I had him in like all my leagues last year just for his name, and he actually did pretty good. He's like the 3rd overall kicker.
I agree with Joby one here. I think Galloway and Daniel Jones is going to make something happen this year. I like Galloway a lot with Matthew Stafford.
He's ranked at. That's actually that could be a nice little value pick.
I think they're going to be throwing the ball more than years past.
24.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, to think
that's about right.
The 24th overall best value, like that's a really good value to get him at.
That's about right. That's about right for him.
Just so you guys, this guy is pre-selected. No one's allowed to take him in any of those 3 leagues. That's my guy.
I'm gonna take him, and then once your first pick for him.
Depending on who I get, I might do it.
CeeDee Lamb, it's a crowded receiver room in Dallas. So, I think he's gonna put up some numbers, but I think also
top 12 talent.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Dak is Dak, man. He put up some monster numbers last year.
Look, he only had 1 target in that granted, preseason game. You're not going to get as many, but still.
Right. They ain't playing.
So where's his last year's stats? Right here. So 74 receptions as a rookie is pretty good in my opinion, especially without having your starting quarterback in there. So I mean, honestly, CeeDee Lamb did a lot better than I thought he did actually. There's a lot of these receivers that I just didn't have that I didn't follow as closely. I'm actually really impressed with those numbers right there.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
With a bad quarterback, that is pretty good.
Sterling Shepard and Galloway is the reason why I think that Daniel Jones is going to be a sneaky quarterback. Maybe somebody you throw on your bench and you grab late, and spot start for you here and there if you think whatever. But I have some of his cards, and I think this year he's gonna going to do something. That's why I won't sell him for as cheap as they got right now.
I hope you're right this breaks because that's my guy. Like that's my Claypool this year. I'm going hard for my man Najee Harris. Let's look him up. Let's see where they got him. They got him as number 13 running back.
I think that's about right.
Dude, this dude is a beast. I was watching a lot of his college tape, him hurdling people. Like, this is a bad dude right here. Najee Harris. I like this guy. I like him a lot. Quickly endearing himself to Steelers fans. He sure is. Look, what running back reminds Marshawn of himself? That's awesome. Yeah, I think this dude's going to have a big year, man. Like, the big thing I'm worried about with him is the Steelers' offensive line not being up to snuff. If we can get that under control, I mean, he can catch out of the backfield and do all those other tangible things too. Loki, I think he's going to be a superstar player one day. I really do.
Tom wants to know where Sterling Shepard is on the receiver rankings. Sleeper there.
Sure. Let's go look.
And then this breaks asks, when are we drafting? If you're in the last league that we made, which I believe you are, it'll be the 28th, probably around 1 p.m. on the 28th. We're going to be doing the first two leagues next Saturday. At first league at 1 and the second league at 6. Kind of give us a little bit of a breather, a little food action, you know. I didn't want to make it a long grind of a draft because then I probably would lose interest eventually, even though I love drafting. But drafting 2 leagues back to back would be a lot.
Where would I get his overall ranking?
It would have been on that. It'd have been on that mass list that you.
Yeah, he wasn't on there.
What?
That's what I was wondering. I had to look him up. It only went to the top 50.
Yeah, I mean, and he's definitely a value guy, I think.
Yep, he'd definitely be if you're big on him, he's definitely one you can probably get in the later rounds.
Let me double check for you. This works. If you look on your app, I scheduled the draft for the first 2 leagues, so it'll show you 7 days and
my TGT. My bad.
so many hours or whatever. If you log into the ESPN app, let me double check.
So I guess we could probably look at a little bit of non-PPR too, because that's going to change things up a bit. So non-PPR, they still got McCaffrey is number 1 regardless of PPR format, and Dalvin Cook is number 2 regardless of format. Why do I always call him Travis Henry? He doesn't have 80 kids or sniff cocaine. Derrick Henry, he gets moved up 1 spot in a non-PPR league. Nick Chubb moves up a good bit in a non-PPR because what was he 11 or 12 in PPR or something like that?
I'm sorry, say it again.
Nick Chubb, he took a pretty decent jump in non-PPR.
Yeah. With him splitting time, that would make sense for him to jump up a little bit.
Oh, okay, yeah. So he went up 3 spots, I believe.
Yeah, you would be in the 3rd league if it said that it's not scheduled yet. I'm waiting for 2 people to click an email to fully be in the league, so this way I can schedule it. And we might be adding 2 more spots onto that 3rd league as well. We might do a 12 team league in that one.
This is pretty similar. I mean, there's some changes non-PPR, but
how we did payouts last year, second place got double the entry, so it was $40, and first place got the rest. That's how we did last year.
That would be that'd be big for Henderson getting that load. And man, I wonder what's going to be going on with Cam Akers. Man, do you think he's going to get a full rebound from that injury?
Well, didn't he just get injured recently? Yeah. He's probably done for the year.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
he'll be out for an extended period. But I mean, so young to get an injury like that, it sucks, man. Hopefully he'll be able to bounce back because, especially running backs, man, they seem to be so fragile. I think of guys that I had hopes for for example, like a Javid Best. Like, oh man, I can't wait for Javid Best. I thought he was going to be something great, and concussions knocked him out. You know what I mean? So like it's like even Percy Harvin, man, like he was another guy that like I thought had a ton of talent, like perfect, like little shifty receiver, and just couldn't stay healthy.
Yeah, he had issues with migraines and stuff. And then I think concussions as well. So he might have been a person early in his career that was having some issues with that as well.
Yeah, for sure.
I want to show. I think I found I think it was a top 100 list I was looking at. Share screen. So this is the top 100. I'll tell you right off the bat, guys, I don't think should belong here. I don't like Alvin Kamara. I don't like Ridley. I think Joe Mixon should drop, but he's somewhere in that range. Swift, I think, should drop. Henderson's 33rd through the top 50. So he's up there. T. Higgins for Cincinnati. I'm surprised he's 47th. He's tied with, they're tied with for one of the last places. And Brandon A.
Do they still have Boyd? Tyler Boyd? Do they still have Tyler Boyd, or did he go somewhere else?
Tyler Boyd's in Cincy.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. I didn't know if he moved on or not because they just drafted another receiver. It's like, dude, I think Tyler Boyd's pretty good too, man. That's a nice little Pittsburgh product. I love me some Tyler Boyd. I wish he would come home, man.
Yeah, I'm surprised that he didn't.
Another receiver, but I would like to have Tyler Boyd on black and yellow.
Yeah, I'm really surprised he didn't choose to go somewhere else. He's literally played in the same division as my high school and stuff like that. So I got to watch that kid play. He played a lot of different stuff. He was a defensive end. He played quarterback. He played running back. I mean, he played basically everything on the field. He's just a freak of the nature, an athlete.
Yeah.
Those are a couple guys I'm not real high on. Like if I have the third pick and Alvin Kamara's my top running back, I'm not getting him. I'm getting Derrick Henry. That's just my opinion.
I probably would too.
I might even consider Stephon Diggs or.
I'm really big on Derrick Henry too, though. So there's that.
Well, I guess this is their projection. I don't know how this would make any difference, but league size brought down to a 10-man league, and that's the updated thing. I don't know how that makes a difference, but I guess more running backs would get picked sooner, I guess. But yeah, I'm pumped, man. I'm pumped for fantasy football. Can't wait till we'll draft next week, and I actually wish we draft this week, but it's better that we waited. I would hate, like I said, but originally I would hate for someone to get a Christian McCaffrey or a Cook or a Diggs or a Adams, and they're out basically, the whole season or whatever the case is. So,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like it's better for everyone's experience just to, be able to fill out everybody a little bit more and to see how some of these injuries are going to be and stuff like that,
Yep. Completely agree. Dude, I can see that this breaks. Like, everything I've heard out of New England camp is that Mac Jones is looking like a young Tommy B, which I don't like because I'm not a Patriots guy.
Yeah, if we can fill that to 12, that's what it would be. 20
I would be down for that. I actually like it better when it's like more competition and stuff like that, so that works for me. I'd be a big fan of that.
Thompson going to miss Ingram being a reliable running back in PPR. Tells you how long it's been since doing fantasy, but Ingram and Kamara still on state's last I played. That's why I'm excited to get back into it. I think Ingram went to the Texans, I think, nowadays. But, they were an awesome 1-2 punch. It was almost like you didn't know who to start in some of those games if you had one or the other, because sometimes one would have a better week than the other one because of just the matchups and stuff like that. A lot of people were saying Mac Jones would definitely be one of those guys to take over the Patriots offense like halfway through, or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, Cam's not a bad starting quarterback, but he's not going to win you a Super Bowl either. You know what I mean? Like, that's my opinion of him. What to do with Deshaun Watson? Slap him around, get his head back on his shoulders, and then put him in the game.
I mean, he's
I don't know
one
what
of
you can do.
those guys you maybe take late, super late, and hope for the best. But I mean, in most cases like that, he's going to be gone for the season. He might even sit out. I mean, I don't know, to be honest.
Right now, he's listed as the number 4 quarterback on Houston's preseason depth chart.
Yeah.
He missed a week of practice with calf and ankle injuries. When he's been healthy, he hasn't even taken part in team drills, presumably because of his trade request, it's saying, and legal situation. The Texans are saying as little as possible. The coach did acknowledge Watson is unlikely to play in the preseason opener. Green Bay. Tyrod Taylor has been leading Houston's first team in practice. Basically, it just says Watson has been a top 5 fantasy quarterback, when he has played, but he's a very risky investment.
Yeah, ever since he lost Hopkins, he took a big dip in my thought process as a guy you take up, because him and Fuller were an awesome 1-2 punch down there. Then they always had a couple other guys that were decent. So now Fuller's in Miami, and now you don't even have Hopkins because he got traded 2 years ago now. So I mean, anything with Houston Texans on it, I'd be very, very worried about team wise. But Cam took the Panthers to Super Bowl, but he didn't win. That was the year he was MVP, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But if anybody can, he's still got zip on that throw. He's still got a good arm.
Yeah, he's definitely not a bad player. I just, in my opinion, I don't think he's. Granted, Dilfer won a Super Bowl. Nick Foles won a Super Bowl. Like, not that they're bad quarterbacks. I just don't think that.
He had no weapon.
You're a player you look at and say that guy's going to win us a championship. You know what I mean? Like, nothing against Cam Newton. He's just a little bit of a Fruit Loop. You know what I mean? Like, he's a, and he's a good player. Like, I don't think he's a bad player. I just don't think that, he's like a Super Bowl winning quarterback, I should say. But then again, like I said, there's been guys like Dilfer. There's been guys like Foles who have come in and, like, you wouldn't look at them and say that guy's going to win us. Exactly, Brad Johnson. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, there's been guys like that have won Super Bowls, so it's not impossible. If I'm building a franchise, I'm not going to be like, all right, let's go get Cam Newton because we're going to win this thing. You know what I mean? Like, there's a list of guys I would probably have ahead of him, including Mac Jones, who's his backup, Yeah,
I mean, he walked in last year. He was lucky to even get a job at that point, and he went to a team that had nothing in the cupboard. I mean, Edelman retired. I mean, their best receiver was Myers, which I don't even think he played the whole year. You got a bunch of guys that were on the COVID list. I mean, they basically just sent it last year and said, look, we're not playing because we don't have Tom Brady or because of our lack of team skill, whatever you want to say. But that message does quit.
Sorry about that, Dave. I mean,
oh, no problem. But yeah, I mean, this year they got a whole new team, a bunch of different players. So I think Cam will do a lot better, hopefully, for his career in the stat wise this year, especially if you pick him up in fantasy. If you would dare to take a chance.
I think one thing though with like the whole Cam Newton thing, there's a reason they took a first round quarterback. You know what I mean? Like if Bill Belichick and that coaching staff really felt like Cam Newton was the guy that was going to get them over the hump, they probably wouldn't have went Mac Jones. They would have probably gotten Cam Newton another weapon. You know what I mean? It's like even the Steelers. You know what I mean? Like they could have Jordan Love right now, but they're like, you know what? Let's grab Chase Claypool because we think Ben can still do it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm not saying Big Ben is still, an elite top 5 or whatever quarterback, in this league. I'm just saying, like, if they felt that way, why did they spend, I think, a top 15 pick on a quarterback when they could have had like a really awesome like weapon for Cam Newton? You know what I mean? So like I feel like even like the front office is like, okay, well, we believe in him enough to start, but we don't really think he's the guy that's gonna like lead us into the future. You know what I mean?
I think with the whole Mac Jones thing is, they knew they needed some quarterback depth, and Patriots always pick skill or what's on their board, highest ranking, because that's just how they are. They can always get people to come and play for the cheap to fill in gaps and et cetera, et cetera. They're not like maybe like the Texans or maybe another team that they're always kind of having a lot of downs, but and not as many ups.
Yeah.
You got Bill Belichick as your coach. You'll get guys that come play on these player-friendly deals, and you're able to get a lot of skill for a lot of value for your dollar. So, them having Mac Jones fall that far, I bet you the teams like the Steelers were probably like, hey, maybe we should move up and maybe get this guy. But with the Steelers, they're still, we're still holding on chances to, go to the Super Bowl, because of our defense and offense and so on and so forth. Our offensive line might be a project for the first couple games, and Ben might be on his back a little more than often than we'd hope and everything else. But, as we look at everything, we're still a championship caliber team. So I think that's a lot of why we didn't go into like a Fields or a Mac Jones or somebody like that, unless somebody would have failed like somebody that was, taken in the top 10 of this year, then maybe the Pittsburgh would have maybe moved up to try to make a move, but they probably just didn't feel like that was their quarterback of the future. And honestly, I feel like they think that Haskins is going to be that guy. I really do.
I know he is. I really do, man. Like I like that guy. Like I liked him coming out of OSU. And like that's a heck of a program too. You know what I mean? Like they train guys to be pro ready, but I mean clearly he wasn't. But
right.
I mean, dude, like what quarterback have you ever seen Washington develop? Like outside of like the OG, like way back in the day quarterbacks that they had.
Yeah, I mean,
in the modern era, like I don't see them developing quarterbacks that are good, serviceable, winning players. Like the best quarterback I've seen roll through there lately is Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins and RG3 before the injury. Those are probably the best quarterbacks, to be there around there.
And neither one of them really developed into anything special there. You know what I mean? Like that's part of the issue, I think. I mean, at least I'm hoping that's part of the issue. And we can take whatever little bit of magic we have in the bottle that is Ben Roethlisberger and, sprinkle that sucker all over Haskins and hopefully get some of that on him.
Yeah, I think a lot of like Washington's woes came because of RG3. You know what I mean? They lost a lot of picks. They mortgaged the future for that guy because they traded up, and they only got a couple good years out of him because they chose to gamble on that knee when they should have let him sit and probably just milled it for the early not had a chance at the playoffs, but they wanted to take that chance, and that's why sometimes as a fan we get upset when teams bench people, but in all reality they should have probably benched that guy and maybe had him be a productive player for 6 or 7 more years, and maybe also not had him run as much because, man, like he probably ran the ball more yards than he threw because of just how his play style was.
Yep. Yeah, but I definitely think just being in Pittsburgh, like the atmosphere, the culture is different. You know what I mean? Like that's something you hear so many players. Like for example, like Jerome Bettis didn't have a great reputation before he came to Pittsburgh. He came to Pittsburgh and he was like one of the greatest locker room guys there were. You know what I mean? Mr. Bragg says, how much is it to grade a card with transparent? So right now we're open with our beta pricing, which is $20 a card. But there are cheaper rates as you go up in cards. So, for example, once you hit 10, it drops, 20, it drops, 50, it drops, 100, it drops. So then we also have group submitters that we're partnered with as well. So, um, if you'd be interested in hopping in one of those, let us know. I'll be submitting one next week. So, got you if you want to get in. That's what it did in Buffalo, creating a culture of accountability. Absolutely. And that's what it needs, you know what I mean? And it shows with the way that Buffalo has turned around because honestly, like you can't come into this season and not at least consider Buffalo as a Super Bowl possibility because just of the fact they have Josh Allen. You know what I mean? Like that guy is legit. Like best quarterback that has been through Buffalo since, in my opinion, Jim Kelly. And that's even with like say a Doug Flutie coming through or a Drew Bledsoe coming through. Like I think that highly of Josh Allen. I really think that he's going to be one of the elite quarterbacks in the league for years to come.
Yeah, I think this last year was his
I'm not sure.
Party.
Sorry about that, man. I didn't mean to cut you off. I think we might have a lag.
Oh, good. Okay.
I was just answering this to breaks. Is there any comps from eBay sales yet? I'm not sure yet. Not that I know of. We just started getting some pre-beta stuff out to clients. So I haven't actually checked yet, but I'll actually go check eBay real quick and see if anything has shown up yet. I know that there's been a bunch of sales on Facebook Marketplace, but as far as like eBay, I'm not sure yet.
I think last year was Josh Allen's coming out party, man. Especially bringing in Diggs. That was a great trade that they did.
It was.
And now they're lined up for success. To move forward. Hopefully, they can get who's our running back last year.
For what team?
Who?
Zach Moss.
Not Zach Moss, but the other guy, Singletary.
Oh, yeah, Devin
Singletary was going to be a bigger part in the offense, but for whatever reason, it was back. Well, I guess it was a little bit of both, but it would be interesting to see. That's another combination that will be something we got to take a look at, especially if we're going to draft someone in the later rounds or whatever.
Yeah, there's nothing listed on eBay yet for transparent grading team. We checking the solds. But yeah, I mean, we literally have just started getting stuff out to people, so I don't know that anything's even had a chance to be listed yet. No, nothing listed or sold yet. But if you go on to Facebook Marketplace and you search transparent grading team, you'll definitely find something. So I know my boy Glenn, who's the GMA Jedi. I've rebranded him TGT Jedi because he's out there slanging them things. You froze? Oh no, you're still there.
Yep.
My bad.
I think Singletary might be a guy that I thought he was going to get more run last year, but it seemed like they kept giving Zach Moss a lot of the short yardage chances and stuff like that, which hurt Singletary from PPR standpoint and stuff like that.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Bills are the only team ready for a Super Bowl in the AFC besides KC. I can see that. I mean, I think there's a couple others that I could theoretically see in the Super Bowl, like the Pigeon Birds are always a force in the AFC. The Steelers, I mean,
I think we have a good shot.
I say the Steelers every year, even when we suck. I say the Steelers can win the Super Bowl. And 2 years I've been right. That was 2005 and 2008.
And our defense has never. I think our defense has potential to be better than our Super Bowl teams that we won. You know what I mean? I really feel pretty strongly about our defense, and usually with Pittsburgh teams, we're able to either put up points on the board or kind of go the kind of the defensive running game type of look, and it kind of works out. So it's gonna be interesting, man. I really put us in a category with them. I think we're maybe top four in the NFC or AFC. I'm sorry. I really put us up there, man. I don't think really don't think anybody else would be higher than us than that.
Yeah, absolutely. Hate to say it, but I think Casey and Tennessee. Yeah, I agree. Tennessee's a tough team as well. Just Ryan Tannehill's a very good quarterback. Like I think he's underrated. I really do. I think that the talent they have there in the wide receiver room is just like insane. Their offensive line is pretty decent, and they got one of the best running backs in the game. So like they're going to be a tough team to come against, and their defense is not shabby either. So yeah, they definitely have potential.
See like they added Julio, but you know I don't think Julio is the same Julio that we're used to talking about or dealing with. You know what I mean? Like I don't look at him as the same guy, especially in Tennessee. Like they don't. They're another team. It's like they play kind of like kind of how the Browns play on defense. They feed Henry. They feed Henry. They set up play action. They're not going to be throwing the ball 35 times or whatever a night. They're going to set up for their defense. Actually, I don't wonder if their defense is going to be as good as last year. Their defense was a little questionable, I thought, last year, and I think they lost somebody. I think they lost somebody to the Broncos, the defensive lineman, I believe. So I wonder if their defense is going to be as good, if I remember right. I could be wrong though. I mean, AJ Brown is a a young upcoming talent, but Tannehill is not. I think Matt Ryan's still better than Tannehill, not by much, but and then him and Matt Ryan had all that time to build what they got. You know what I mean? So receivers and QBs always have to have a really strong, uh, you know, thing to work out and do well, in my opinion. I mean, you look at AB and Roethlisberger; they had that situation down pat. They might have not agreed off things that off the field and practice and everything else, but you know, if Ben made a certain look or whatever the case is, he knew that he was supposed to run a deep slant or cross or whatever. So simple things like that is what makes their combinations special.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, I definitely think the Browns will be a good team too. I don't doubt that. I think on paper, the Browns are a team that should win a championship. But the problem is they can't get off the paper ever.
They gotta get something more out of. If they can get more out of Odell and they can throw a little more and score a little more points per game, then maybe they creep up because they're strong defense and stuff like that. But if it's more or less the same offense or less, I don't think they're a top 10 team.
So have you had a chance to watch any of the Steeler games yet this year? I know you normally work Thursdays.
Yeah, it's been really rough, especially right now because we're going through back to school. So it's been like yesterday, for example. I usually get home at 7 or 8 o'clock. I was out till 10:30 on a Friday, which is supposed to be my easiest day by far. So now that we're rolling through back to school, it's really getting crazy. So I'm just hoping I can get my new schedule and kind of live a normal life.
Yeah, I hear you there, man.
It's living week to week, schedule and how it is. It makes it rough because as a family you can't really plan anything because if I'm usually working on Sundays, now having off, I can't plan anything for the advanced feature because I don't know how that will be or whatever. So, yeah. All right, guys. I think it's time to start wrapping it up. Appreciate you guys coming hanging out. Super excited for the fantasy draft this year. Like I said, we'll be doing that next week. And then as soon as we figure out if we're going to run 12 or 10 on the third team, I'll schedule that. And that'll be for the following week, the 28th. So just make sure and just check your apps and stuff like that. Make sure you check out that timer. 1 and 6 on next week. We'll be doing a live draft. So if you are one of the teams that are drafting, you want to come hang out with us, by all means you can. Just make sure you have a working mic. You don't have to be on camera like we are. That's totally optional if you want to be on camera. And, talk about why you picked this player. We can maybe have a laugh if Anthony picked somebody super early or something, like James Conner last year. But,
it'll probably happen.
But you never know. So appreciate you guys coming hanging out with us. Anthony, anything you want to tell them before we?
Yeah, I'm getting ready to drop a link in the chat for our auction. It's going to be tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I know Nate has a whole bunch of PSA slabs. I got some slabs and a whole bunch of other really awesome raw cards. I got a lot of good football this week from my honey hole, so we'll be digging through some of that. I also got a lot of basketball stuff to go through as well, a little bit of baseball, and I might have a few more Marvel cards coming as well. So there's going to be a decent bit of stuff on the auction tomorrow on my channel. If you're not subbed over there, make sure you come follow me over on Picksburgh. We put out videos there 7 days a week. And also, I'm going to drop one more link for any of you guys that are interested in getting some cards graded. We just launched a new grading service called Transparent Grading Team, which is the industry's first transparent grading service where we actually tell you why you got what you got. So if anyone's interested in that, I'm going to drop that link in there too. You can actually go and look at cards we've graded and see why they got the grades through our POC report on there. So it's pretty cool. It's interactive. It's something that the market hasn't seen before. So always like to share that as well.
All right, guys. We will see you tomorrow for the auction. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your day.